Hey guys, what's up? Caleb Downing here, and today we're going to do a relatively quick comparison of the YHM R45 and the YHM R9. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so here we go. Like I said, R45 and the R9. I have to say, and I'll say it straight up, and I don't care, I'm a YHM fanboy, right? I like other suppressors. I love other suppressors, right? But on these specific cans, I really, really like them. The YHM R9, the YHM R45 are, in essence, just a 45 caliber and a 9mm caliber can that are the same thing. Just one's a little bit longer than the other one. It has a larger bore. Basically, that's basically it, all right? They are, in my opinion, kind of like overbuilt cans for what they are. They're both made, it appears to me, that they're both made to be like pistol caliber carbine cans, but they both work on rifles, they both work on pistols and on PCCs. They do a lot, right? And I've got to caution you, and I got to caution myself not to get too crazy about this, because you have to be careful when you get into the do-all cans, the cans that do everything, because a lot of times, guys, these do-all cans don't do anything very well. At least that's my opinion and my experience. However, these guys have done very well, and they work better when you keep them in their niche, but they can expand outside their niche. You just have to keep it in that wheelhouse of what it's made to do, and it's going to do very well. If you get one of these cans and want to primarily use it in one of its offshoot things that it can do, and you're disappointed, right, that maybe it doesn't do as well as another can that's specifically designed for that role, yeah, you're going to get disappointed. You know, case in point is if you tried to use one of these guys as a dedicated like 5.56 can, it would work, and we'll show you that in a minute when we do the shooting footage. It'll work and it'll sound decent, but it's not going to do as well as a dedicated 5.56 can. Does that make sense? This is a 45 cal can and a 9mm can. All right, so before we get too far off into this whole thing, which we kind of already have, I'm going to go over some specs, just basically your weight and length and size and everything, just comparing the two. And then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go shoot these things, all right? So I'll throw it up here on screen for you. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully I can figure out how to do that. In essence, the R9, let me find it. The R9 is 1.562 inches in diameter, right? About 1.5 inches, all right? However, on the other hand, the R45 is in essence the same thing at 1.563. So you're talking less than the width of a piece of paper, basically. The difference between these guys as far as the diameter, right? The length of the R9 is 5.2 inches. The length of the R45 is 6.45 inches. So basically the R45 is about 1.25 inches longer and extreme negligibly wider, right, in diameter. The weight of the R9 is 10.7 ounces. The weight of the R45 is 13 ounces even. All right, we're going to leave it there as far as the specs go. You can look at some stuff. You can look it up as far as barrel length restrictions and stuff for both of the cans. In essence, they're both going to do the same as far as barrel length, as far as I'm understanding. I'm not looking up every single thing across the board. But in my experience with what I've shot them through, they both handle equally barrel length restriction-wise the same thing, except obviously the R45 can handle 45 caliber things, right? Stuff above 9mm, 40, 45, 45, 70, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, since we're already talking about all this, let's talk about some of the, really, we've already done reviews on these, right? So this is more or less a comparison between these two. They both use the same mounts. I got the spinning little table out. They both come, this is one thing to note, the R45 comes with a direct thread. They both come with direct thread, but the R45 direct thread is 5/8 by 24, right? Which would accommodate most of your 45 caliber direct thread barrels, right? If that makes sense. Pistols, they have some weird funky stuff on there and things, but like my 45-70, right? That's a 5/8 by 24 direct thread. So that's why they did that. And then the R9 comes with direct thread 1/2 by 28, which, excuse me, again, for most 9mm, that's going to be your direct thread is 1/2 by 28. That's what it's designed for. That's what its wheelhouse is. Since they're both hub compatible, you can use a ton of mounts. These all will fit. These are mounts from Dead Air. And from Yankee Hill, you have Trilugs, you got Chemos, you got Xenos, you got the Yankee Hill, the Phantom mounts, right? Their QD mounts and stuff. I don't have their Kurtz kit, but it would work the same way. Direct threads from both companies. Hub compatible mount on both of them. So that is fantastic. I am very glad about that. Really, there's not a whole lot else to say. Let's go to the range. Let's look at the footage. Let's shoot these things, and then we'll wrap it up back here at the end. Okay, so that was interesting. I think that was interesting. I think it was a little, I don't know how much telling it is. I've had some people ask me questions like, okay, I'm looking at getting the R45, but the R9's out. I'm running it on this thing, as a dedicated PCC can. Okay, this is the most concise way that I can say it. Both of these cans do very well across the board on the things that I tried it on, right? Even 5.56, I mentioned earlier that a 5.56 can is going to sound better, and it would, in my opinion, it would. But both of these would work well on a 5.56. They both worked well on my 308, right? And my 30-06, right? They both did well on that. They sounded surprisingly well. The R9, since it is a smaller can, I do believe even on the 30-06 that the R45 did better because it has more volume. And it worked a little bit better. Even though it's a larger bore, I think it sounded a little bit better than the R9. But the R9, I mean, if you're still trying to cut some weight and stuff, put a direct thread on this, and on the 30-06, it was good. I would have no problem taking that hunting and whatnot and being perfectly comfortable shooting that the one or two times you might have to do that whenever you're hunting, right? R45 is going to be slightly heavier, but it's going to sound a little bit better. So for those people that are looking at which one of these you want to get, I'm going to honestly say, I'm not going to say get both. Obviously, getting both would be awesome. But if you have a caliber above 9mm that you might want to suppress, whether that be 40, 45, or some of these other rifle caliber things out there, if you have that caliber and you're thinking maybe you could suppress it, I would say just go ahead and get the R45, right? Because yes, it's a little bit longer, 1.25 inches. I mean, it isn't much. It's enough to be noticed, but it isn't much. And weight-wise, yeah, it's a couple ounces heavier, just a couple. Not that big of a deal, but it gives you that versatility of adding those additional calibers if you wanted to do that, because it's fun. It's fun to do that. Unless you want dedicated specific cans, and I am a fan of that. If you want dedicated specific cans, then get a specific can for your specific thing. Even if you have a 45 that you might want to suppress, but you want a dedicated can for a 9mm PCC, then get the R9. Does that make sense? if you're getting dedicated stuff. And these are priced appropriately to really be able to get dedicated cans. Not that they're just cheap and you could just buy 1,000 of them. I mean, that'd be great. But it's not like they're costing $1,000 a pop, right? They're about half that. Depending on where you get them and stuff, they're about half that. So that's kind of my 2 cents. That's kind of how I see these things. I'm very impressed with these. I have had the R9 longer. Obviously, the R45 just came out. But I've had the R9, and I have been very impressed with it. I keep saying that, but I literally have been. I have, like, I don't remember, several other companies of their similar sized 9mm cans, and this guy is cheaper than the rest of them, pretty much. There might be one that's a little bit cheaper, but generally it's cheaper than the rest of them. It's a beast of a can. The one that's slightly cheaper than this, possibly, I'm not gonna say names and stuff, but it's a 9mm specific can. You do not shoot rifle caliber stuff through there. This guy, I can put it on my 5.56. I can put it on my 30-06. That's impressive. That is very impressive. So I don't see this guy wearing out or breaking, right, before some of these other cans would do that, right? These are beast cans, in my opinion. I really, really like them. Probably is coming out, and I'm probably just cheering it, rah, rah, ding, ding. But I'm serious. I'm serious. And you wouldn't go wrong getting an R45 if you have the rounds, right? The hosts of a 45 or above a 9mm that you want to shoot. It sounds good. They sound good, right? Shot wet, shot dry, they sound good. So anyway, guys, I hope that helps. I hope that helps some of you guys kind of decide, or at least get a view of what these things would sound like and maybe where their niches are. In essence, again, they're the same can. One's just in 45 and one's just in 9mm. One's a little bit bigger than the other one. One's a little bit smaller than the other one. In essence, they're the same thing, though. I love the fact that Yankee Hill is doing this, the hub mount, right, which opens up the world to possibilities as far as mounts and things. And since we are on mounts, the only thing I wasn't able to shoot this on, which I really wish I could have because I think it would have sounded really good, these are more specific towards pistol caliber cans, kind of, right? So the Sons of Liberty Gun Works Knox Chemo mount, this guy right here, he does not work, right? These guys are slightly longer. I don't know if it's like a 1/4 of an inch or whatever. They're just slightly longer than your regular dead air mounts, your regular chemo mounts. Because of that, I was not able to get it shot, I was not able to put these on that host, right? Because the Knox was a little bit too big. If it wasn't for that, I think it would have sounded really good on there, and I really wish I could have done that because that would have been kind of telling. A semi-automatic 30 cal that's less than a 30-06 or a 308. Anyway, I think that would have been interesting. But it is what it is. All right, that's it. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. I love to try to help you guys out. That's one reason I get these things, is to try to help people, whether it's be making decisions or just answering generalized questions of how does it work on this? Does this mount? I don't have all the mounts in the world, but I do my best to try and help people whenever they have those questions, at least find the answer for them, right? So anyway, that's it. Y'all be good to be safe. I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, and everything, and hopefully we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.